is enough, and it's time for a change!
Are you ready?
It is Sunday, and you're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
Give me a hell yeah! Get some love! Yeah!
With Kinny Killa.
Hey yo! We're in the big D-Day, baby! And we are live! Woo!
I'm the Goddamn Sugar Sugar.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be! Cause that's the bottom line! The Stone Cold Sucks.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It is Sunday, it's episode 46 and I am the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the one man with no Instagram, Kinny Killa. And you know I'm always kicking it with the hashtag tech guy, the Welsh wizard himself, the goddamn Sugar Sugs.
Yo, yo, yo.
And we are joined today by our head of fan relations, Mr. James Powers.
Hello!
Hello! We also have a new guest on the show today. Another Northern brother from Middlesbrough, Tony Walker.
Hi guys.
Hello. And people, it is the return of the prodigal son. The return of... Let me just give him the intro. I gotta build this shit up. The human highlight reel himself, Mr. E2 Jigga.
I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
I'm back where I belong. Yeah, I never felt so strong. I'm back, I'm feeling like there's nothing I can't try. And if you with me, put your hands.
Hey, yo. What's up? It's good to be back, man.
Guess who's back? Back again. How you doing, man? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Been busy as usual, but I'm back to talk wrestling. I missed it. I gotta say I missed it. And you guys been coming on leaps and bounds, so yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you back, man, you know.
I'm back.
We're like HBK and Ed was Matty Jannetty.
I knew the jokes was coming out.
It's the Marty Jannetty. Oh my god, come like barbershop, sweet Jim. Oh shit. Alright, so Tony, how you doing, man? How's your weekend been?
Weekend's been fun. Been preparing for the podcast and coming on here to talk wrestling.
Good. Ready to go.
Raw. Ready to go.
I hope you got your Fandango impression ready because we'll come to that a bit later.
I've been practicing.
Alright, Shugs. How's it been your weekend? Any football news? I know you're injured, but how's your boys been doing?
There's too much rain, mate. There's too much rain. Unless we get like a water polo team going, you know, I just don't think we'll be playing for the next few weeks. We got a new manager though. Our manager apparently stepped down. He got that dreaded vote of confidence and then stepped down, and we got some new guy in who's apparently played for like, you know, a few football league teams and played at like conference level and this stuff, so he's going to hopefully try and save us. 12 games left.
And you're still bottom?
Yes. No, we're not bottom, we're second from bottom. So
okay.
Hopefully you'll be like the Gus Poyet of the Welsh League.
Alright, well, let's just get on with the show. We've had loads of people again following us this week, so all your Twitter followers, please follow us at Sunday Segue. Segue spelled S-E-G-U-E. Please email in the Sunday Segue at gmail.com. Again, if you wanna talk about people's accents, if you wanna talk about anything, it could be anything. Shug's football team, where has E2J been? Anything, alright? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well and listen to our old episodes on iTunes, Podomatic, and don't forget to download that Double Twist player. On the show today, as always, we have gonna be doing Raw, Smackdown in 60 seconds, Sugs Stunners. We also have an interview with Velvet Jones, USA independent wrestler. But bloody Skype recorder just fucked up halfway through it, so I've only got half the interview, but it's still, good, so just make sure you listen out for that later. Shout-outs. Right, so shout-outs. Let's get onto Twitter, people. Let's see who we got to get shout-outs. Alright, so, again, sorry if I don't get all of you in, but whoever it is, here you go. Here's your shout out, like I promised. So, shout out to Gordy Rhodes, that's at Swugly WWE. Shout out to at McIntyre Fan UK, at PWP Wrestling, at Blackbeard Fam, at Queen Bee _69, at Helly _cat, at Sam Oliver 90, at Pink Hugh Zisha, at Mia Bonita, at JB Kayfabe, at Miss Scott Welsh, Ringside Review 1, and at We Want Classic. There you go. There's all the shout outs. So those are all our shout outs. Right. Anybody else? Ed, you want to give any shout outs?
Nah, I ain't got nothing. I'm not
No
gonna
shout outs. Any shout outs, Tony?
No, I just shout out to all my Twitter followers and thanks for following me.
James?
My usual three, at Kylie B19, our bantering friend at Brent Finney, and Mr. Oliver Ben.
Shugs?
Nah, I'm good this week.
Okay. Before we go on, I just want to welcome Brendan Finney to the team as our head writer of our blog, and Sunday Segue presents Brendan's Banters. So there you go. He's now part of the team. Our team's getting stronger. So any of you Segheads out there, you want to join the team and help us out, you know, with websites, intro music, anything, just holler at your boys, okay? Now it's time for the impressions. So, Shugs, have you got your cards stacked? You got them ready?
Got them ready, mate. Got them
ready.
ready.
So, Tony, without further ado, can you give us your best Fandango impression, please?
Fandango.
Shugs.
Yeah, that's a good impression. I liked it. Nice and quick.
Not hanging about. Tony, can you give us your favorite current wrestler, please?
My favourite current wrestler at this moment in time, I have a list, but if I have to pick one, it has to be CM Punk.
CM Punk, okay, why?
He's the best in the world.
That's
King
it.
of Black Arms.
There's nothing more to say to that.
He's real, and he speaks his mind, and I like people who speak their mind.
Good. And then your favourite wrestler of all time?
Like I say, I have a list, but like again, there's only one, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Rattlesnake himself. That's not a bad choice at all. Not a bad choice. All right, people. We're gonna get straight into Raw. Straight into Raw segment 1. Orton and Authority. So should we start with Raw again? You know, with the boring, robotic Orton cuts a damn stupid ass promo. But did you notice that Orton was like speeding through his promo?
Well, I think he was just doing his best to quiet the CM Punk chants, you know. Mm-hmm. And he did quite well actually, because they were going for it, and then he just basically drowned them out, like, you know. So I think he did a good job of that, of just like squashing really the chants that they were putting on.
What do you reckon of the promo itself?
The promo was just dead, you know. It's the same old shit every week, you know, from Orton. You know, he's moaning and whining, you know, but he's not even coming across as a whiny heel. He's just coming across as like annoying.
He's a dick.
I don't think they've done him any favors the way they booked him.
Nah, I mean we talked about that last week. You know how the way that he's being put across is it's a bit weird, especially as he's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Like Triple H and Steph come out, Tony, and you know they start talking about some shit about Bryan potentially being the face. I mean, how do you think Bryan is going to benefit from Punk not being around anymore?
Oh, that's a great question. I think they'll probably direct their attention towards Bryan and find out how they use him a bit more, because they were pushing for Punk to have a feud with Triple H for WrestleMania, and from what I've read over the internet and followed over the internet, apparently he didn't like it. What the direction is going to go now for Bryan is what will happen at WrestleMania. I don't know, but I think they'll use him a bit more. Mm-hmm. And despite the fact they always turn around and say he's not nowhere near the face of the company, I think he should be. To be honest with you, I think he's an awesome wrestler. I mean, you talk about CM Punk being the best in the world. There's a case for Daniel Bryan as well, in my opinion.
Definitely. I think that, especially with Daniel Bryan being the face, it's going to be a long while before WWE ever, I think, use a small guy to be, the face of their company. They don't tend to go that way. But hopefully the world changes when Triple H takes over, but I doubt it because he'll still be probably calling in favors of his old pals, as we've seen on the Royal Rumble.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Go back to what you said about Daniel Bryan not going that direction and using that kind of type of wrestler as the face of the company. I don't think that's been done since Rey Mysterio. When he became world champion for the first time. Yeah. And whether they'll go down that, like I say, whether they go down the route again, I hope so, because like I say, I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan. Loved days when he was in Ring of Honor, so like I say, Triple H always talks about what's best for business, and I think using Daniel Bryan as the face of the company is best for business.
We need to get back to, wrestling in WWE and not so much the entertainment side of stuff, man. Alright, also, in this segment, Orton decides to start stealing phrases from Wade Barrett, talking about, I've got some bad news. Get your own material, bro. What the fuck's wrong with you? Alright, let's go to segment 2. Shield versus Ray, Big E and Kofi. I thought this was a good match, E2J, showcasing the fresh talent and stuff. With WWE now focusing on Reigns, Big E's taken a bit of a backseat. But how do you think, they'll get him back into the picture?
Like, I don't even mind Big E at the moment, do you know what I mean? I think he's a solid IC champ. This is the thing, I think they just need to start giving him decent feuds. Maybe I could even see him having a match with Reigns or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? But obviously they got the Wyatts. Obviously we'll get to that later. But they obviously got that feud building up. There's the crack in the Shield. It depends. Big E just needs to have those single matches and defend the titles. They don't want to be like Ambrose, where you got the title and you just don't defend it, because that just does my head in. I can't stand that. If you got the title, you need to defend it. But at the same time, obviously, you do need credible opponents to make that title match worthwhile. So I don't know. I think he's good at the moment. Obviously, I'm glad he's changed his attire, sorted that out. Do you know what I mean? I think he's going from strength to strength. That guy is fast and he is a steam train, and it's just, man, just give him good matches. You just need to book interesting matches. I'm old school, so I prefer if the feuds go on, they drag out. Yeah. I'd rather them just not kill it after a week. Do you know what I mean? So
they need some stable writers up in there, man. James, Ambrose steals the pin, of Reigns, so teasing some more beef. But how do we get Rollins more involved? Because it seems like they're just focusing more on Ambrose and Reigns.
I've said this before. I believe that Rollins is the best of the three. I have always said that. It seems to a point where they're coming towards just them two, and it's going to be them to a few. But I've been reading this morning that they might insert Roman Reigns into the Triple H match.
Oh, what are they doing?
If they insert Roman Reigns into Triple H match, the only option surely that leaves them is Ambrose versus Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because I read that they may do the triple threat match, but then obviously that depends on what else is going, what comes out of the feud with the Wyatts, and whether they're going to do the breakup of the Shield and they're going to do a triple threat. But they said they won't do that if there's a triple threat for the WWE title. If it's Orton, Batista, Bryan, they don't want to put 2 triple threat matches on Mania. So I think it depends how the main event goes, and now book everything else really. Because what the fuck Sheamus gonna do?
Oh, he can fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. I know who gives a fuck, but what is he gonna do?
Well, they're talking about him and Ryback. Yeah, who cares?
Hey, fuck Ryback.
I'd rather see Ultimate Warrior come down and just give him a little 2-minute squash match than see him face Sheamus. Jeez. Shug's Roman Reigns' eyes seem to be getting frigged up every month, bro. How did he bust it open? How did it happen?
Maybe people are throwing shots, but because his hair is so greasy, it's just sliding onto his eye. Because he's got so much fucking chip fat oil in there or something.
That's that soul glow.
Oh, mate, it must be some Samoan fucking special products, man, because that shit stays oily for the whole match. He was still greased up at the end of the Rumble.
It's like if it was like Gold Dust, at least at the end of the match, his paint come off and shit. Like
you just see his normal face, but Roman Reigns just stays silky, man. Maybe they should get him doing some fucking L'Oreal adverts or something. I went into the Rumble at number 12, and at number 30, I still have my soul glow.
Because I'm worth it. Oh, God. Tony, after the match, we get a nice Wyatt promo, and Harper and Rowan finally get to speak.
Yeah, that's something that took me by surprise when I watched it as well. Because it's usually Bray Wyatt who's doing all the talking, but it was nice to hear Luke Harper speak for a change and know what's going to happen and telling the Shield that they should run.
Yeah.
Which is beyond me. I don't think the Shield have ever run from anything, to be honest. But yeah, it was a refreshing change to see the two. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan get involved in the promo instead of it all being Bray Wyatt.
Eric Rowan manages on one word, just run. Just give him one word, that's it. Don't do anything else. Don't mess up the segment. Just give him one word. Just run. So that, yeah, with the mask on his face, yeah. Segment 3, people. Bad News Barrett. Yeah, James, you get bad news. You get bad news coming out saying, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. As usual. Why the fuck is Jerry Lawler standing up? Why is he
mate, this is some bullshit. It's just like, then they were saying, it was like, yeah, well done, Jerry, what a burn. He didn't fucking say anything. He did not say anything. That's like, I know you are, but what am I? That was the actual equivalent of that. It's like Barrett said something, and he's like, yeah, Barrett, and maybe next week, you'll get some bad news. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Who wrote this?
Jerry wrote it. That must be his fucking best joke, the old cunt.
Oh my God.
It would have been better if he said something like along the lines, I've got some bad news for you. Nobody gives a damn.
Exactly.
Yeah, or I got some bad news for you. If you actually wrestle me, you may actually have another bloody turn again. Like, why? What's the point? If he's not going to be wrestling or doing anything, what is the point of making him stand up? It's like, why are you involving these dumb commentators like JBL? Don't even get me started on a Marco. Don't get me started on him, please.
And he's always going on about the fucking Six Nations.
Oh, fucking hell.
No one cares, like. He may watch some rugby because he's in Bermuda, but fucking no one cares. Doesn't he realise nobody gives a fuck about rugby?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Like, if you're gonna, sorry, Tony, carry on.
No, it was just, I agree with what Aaron just said there. I mean, JBL used to be a hell of a commentator, in my opinion, when he was back on Smackdown. But now, in my opinion, he's just become annoying. And don't get me started on Bad News Barrett. Don't get me started on that, please.
No, get started, man. Get started. Tell me.
Right, yeah, I'll go if you want. That's no problem. Bad News Barrett. I believe I read on... I followed on the internet. It said, "I'm afraid I have some bad." It was a picture of Bad News Barrett, and it said, "I'm afraid I have some bad news. I don't know what to do with it." And it's a shame for me because this guy is a future world champion, in my opinion, a 3-time Intercontinental champion, and WWE has stooped him to this. It's just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. Absolutely mind-boggling.
And the thing is as well, it's like he resembles, they're trying to make it like he resembles us. It's like, all us British do is give bad news. Like, what's wrong?
Or commit felonies in the street.
Oh, God. Alright, let's go into segment 4. To Christian. One more match. Christian versus Swagger. Shucks, man, Christian. He comes out, right, with this dud-ass t-shirt, right, and turns round and points on his back. And what does it say on his back, Shugs?
I have no idea.
It says, one more match.
He's just like, oh, I don't know, man. I used to like Christian, I used to like him, but he's just shit. Shit. He always gets a big pop though when he comes back, or when his song drops, he gets a pop, and that's it. That's as high as it ever goes. That's as interested as anyone ever gets. You know, they like his song.
Will Christian be in the chamber? Come home show. Yeah.
Well, how many weeks have we got?
4, I think. 4 or 3.
2, we need only 2. I thought it was 23rd chamber.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's coming around quick.
Yeah, well, unless he gets fucked up in the next week, then he's going in, really. It doesn't look like they're going to change it, really. I don't see there's any need. They're not going to add anyone else in there. Lesnar's not going to go in because he's got no more dates. And who else? What would be
the only way
in changing
the only way he'd be removed is if CM Punk comes back. They will put him in the chamber because he's their big name. People can like it or not, but CM Punk is their big name. Bigger than Cena, even though Cena doesn't fucking like it neither.
Oh, fuck Cena, man. Well, it looks like definitely Christian will probably be eliminated first. Tony, in the match, Christian gets a roll up, and they do a close-up shot on Cesaro shaking his head. So I'm like, are we now gonna get a turn of Swagger turning face and Cesaro turning heel because they're just mixing it up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know whether I understand what you just said there. I don't know where they're going to go with that, to be honest with you. Is Swagger going to turn heel? Is Cesaro going to turn heel? Is Cesaro going to turn babyface? Is Swagger going to turn heel? I don't know with that one, but yeah, Cesaro looked pretty disappointed with Swagger losing and Christian getting the win. And don't get me started on Seth Calder, please.
Oh my god. E2J, what do you think about the whole Real Americans thing at the moment? Because obviously, like before, we've talked in the past about Cesaro and them failing to get a good storyline with him and stuff. But what do you think about this? Is it time now to get him, turn him babyface?
See, that's the thing. I actually like him as a team. I just don't think that much has been done with them lately, and obviously stuff gets stale real quick. It looks like they're going to make them turn on each other. That's the thing. So, at some point, I don't know. I would have rather saw Swagger stay heel, but I think they're going to keep Cesaro heel. The trouble is, Cesaro's like so over. And you can literally put this guy's ready for a title belt, like main event. You could just throw him in there, but it's all down to storylines again at the same time. So I don't know. I think they're gonna do something with those two. I think they're gonna fuse it out. But the trouble is, then obviously they're gonna probably throw together a couple of other people and put a tag team somewhere else to even it out. But I can see these two getting split up, I think, sooner than later.
Well, hopefully Cesaro gets the nudge. But it's like they're going against the grain at the moment with the fans, The fans want one thing, they're giving us something different, and it's the same looks like for Cesaro.
Frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Alright, well, segment 5, we had CodyDust versus the Old Age Outlaws. Sorry, Bingus, but they are the Old Age Outlaws. James...
Well, Brendan calls them the old age geriatrics, doesn't he? Something along them lines.
We get a steel cage match, for the tag titles, to keep up Brock Lesnar, like he actually is going to come and waste his time to come and fuck them up again. So we get a steel cage match. Why the hell are they on the apron tagging in if a steel cage match is no DQ?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand the point of the cage if it were a normal tag match. Surely if it's a steel cage rules apply and they can climb out to win.
Like, and if Cody's climbing out, why the hell is Road Dogg stopping him? Like, you can't win by climbing out. So if he's out, it's a 2-on-1 situation. Better for them. Oh god. E2J, we get Cody going up the top. He does a moonsault, which misses Road Dogg, right? This looks so dangerous.
Wow. That's all I can say. What was he thinking? I don't know, man. Like, I was actually majorly pissed that he didn't hit him. Yeah. It skimmed him at most, and he just took the bump, and I was like, what's going on? I mean, after that, I was like, right, yeah, Outlaws are taking it. and obviously they did. Billy Gunn come in with the famous, so took the win. I can't hate. This is the thing. I still can't hate on Cody Rhodes because he's good, man. And Goldust is just like in ring and stuff. I swear those two are competing. Like the brothers just competing because one night Cody Rhodes like does Goldust, the next night Goldust like does Cody Rhodes. They're pulling stuff off in the ring, but I don't know where this is gonna go. How long are they gonna be having rematches with the Outlaws? I mean, that surprised me that Outlaws took it, but it's a bit of a twist, I suppose. Is that just Triple H, like, do you know what I mean? Helping his mates out, but this is the thing. I love the Outlaws, but I'm not going to go into that because obviously these dudes like it's good to see them back and everything, but to give them the titles when you got like Cody and Goldust, who like they've just come from strength to strength. So I honestly don't know. Okay. But
it's like wagon wheels. You know, like when we were a kid and you remember them and they were like really big, and now they're like the size of a fucking Rich Tea biscuit, and you're just like, what the fuck? That's what the New Age Outlaws are like. You remember them being so good, and now they're just fucking shit.
Fucking bolding fucks, man. Well, it looks like Road Dogg's taking the heat for that now anyway, as they say on the dirt sheets. So yeah, sad times.
I don't know how he was supposed to have done anything better. Otherwise, he would have got killed.
Yep, knee to the face.
Yeah, he would have just been fucking squashed, just flattened.
Flattened like Pancake Patterson. Oh yeah, speaking of Pancake Patterson, let's go on to segment 6, which is Titus versus Zack Ryder. All right, so Titus is obviously now turned heel, but it was like, for me, it just didn't seem right. He seemed awkward, like he didn't know how to act. Did you get the same vibe?
Yeah. I think they do that once you've been in like a tag team for so long, him and Derek Young with the primetime players and everything, and then you split the tag team up, and then you put him heel, and then put him into the singles. I mean, it's his first match. I'm not going to give him any stick. Like I said, it's his first match against Zack Ryder of all people. But time will tell. I mean, if the booking right and using right, I believe he can pretty do big things. I believe maybe a US title will be in the run for him, but that depends how he's used.
Shugs, what's your thoughts on Big Titus going it alone?
Yeah, I think it's about time it happened, and like Tony was saying, it's like everything else. It's all about the booking, you know. As long I don't think it's someone that is going to be forced down our throats. Someone like Miz when they changed him, but I just think that it's just maybe the way they book him. You know, he was on SmackDown again, and you know he just looked alright. You know, just being cocky. You know, loving himself, being that cocky heel, and I think that suits him.
Did you all notice though that Zack Ryder got a bigger pop than Randy Orton?
Yeah. That don't surprise me. Randy Orton's dead out right now, man. He's just he's not saying nothing. Right, let's go on to segment 7. Emma versus Summer Rae in the dance-off. So I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Shugs, just play my music, man. Just play my music. Play my music.
Backward break.
Just play my music.
I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
I'm back where I belong. Yeah, I never felt so strong. I'm back, I'm feeling like there's nothing I can't try. And if you with me, put your hands.
What the fuck, right? Right, WWE, okay, right? You can fuck up on everyone else. Fuck up on Xavier Woods, fuck up on Alexander Rusev, yeah? But don't you dare fuck up on Emma. Are you telling me this is how you're introducing this girl onto the show? You have it in the crowd for a couple weeks, and then you ask Santino to call her out on the crowd. No one knows who the fuck she is. No one knows who she is. Not everyone is watching NXT. So what you should be doing is putting her backstage, making her interrupt Summer Rae and Fandango while they're being interviewed by Renee, because her and Renee have a nice little thing going on in NXT, right? Let her interrupt week after week, and then make Summer Rae call her out on it. Let the fans, get a feel for her. Let the fans know about the dance. You don't just come up and just take her out of the fucking crowd and make her do her dance that no one knows. We know because we're Emma Marks, but come on, man. Let the rest of the people know who the fuck she is, not just by, fucking Santino had to beg the crowd for reactions. She didn't get that off her own accord. They had to beg for reactions. What are you doing? You're mugging us off. Stop it. Stop it, man. Jesus. E2J, why are WWE continuing, right, to bring up people without no storylines coming into WrestleMania season? Why not wait?
They're mad. They're just... I don't know why they do this. I don't know whether it's why they panic and someone's backstage going, yeah, bring them up, they're ready, bring them up, they're ready. I don't know. But that segment, I didn't even watch Emma vs. Sunray Dance Off. I did not watch it. Not interested. That frustrates me. But if they're going to bring out someone decent, like, I understand, but to be honest, I think they just got to sort out what they're doing with, like, the main roster, the people that are on TV, the people that, like, that's what they got to do first and foremost. Bringing up people and sliding them in places. Like you said, no one ain't gonna notice. No one ain't gonna know who these people are. I don't see the logic.
And the thing is, she is more than this. She's better than half the bloody divas on the roster. But yet, you know, they introduce her like this. Like, oh, friggin' hell. Next minute, we're going to get Betty White wrestling next week or tomorrow night. Alright, segment 8, Sheamus versus Axel. Shugs, James, do we even care? Do we care? Like, do we care about this dry-ass lunch and this pale food?
He just needs to fuck off.
Like, I really don't care.
Take the long road. Don't come back.
It was a filler match with no build. No build for anything.
It's like I said last week, we talked about the Rumble, and you completely forgot about Sheamus. We completely forgot about him. His entry, he was in there for a while, you know, he didn't get eliminated till pretty late, and we just completely breezed over it, because we don't care. It's Sheamus is one of those people that the WWE has chosen for us to like, you know? No, the crowd never pushed him along, you know, he never really had a big following, he just got pushed to the place he's in. You know, the fans never took him anywhere. He was just pushed by the fucking powers that be because he works out with Triple H.
The biggest mistake with Sheamus was turning him face. That was the biggest mistake with him.
Wasn't he fastest WWE champion and all?
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, I'm bypassing this. Segment 9, Del Rio Batista promo. Again, Tony, who cares, man? Like, you know, Batista coming out with his bloody extra small clothes and his dumb nose ring. What? Do you care?
No, to be honest with you. I'm still wondering how he goes away for 4 years and then comes back and wins the Royal Rumble.
Because he's Triple H's mate.
That's the best logic of it. But it's funny you bring this up actually because Del Rio's been ranting and raving on the internet that when his contract runs out, he's going to be leaving because apparently he's been very vocal about his character and the direction it's gone. From once being a main event player on Smackdown to basically becoming Batista's bitch, sort of thing. He's not very happy with it, and apparently he's leaving it because apparently, let's face it, he's been fed to Batista, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely been fed to Batista, and if these two are going to have a match at, from what it seems like, at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, we all know Batista's going to win, and this is just a warm-up thing for Batista going into WrestleMania, and I actually feel sorry for Del Rio in a way because
I think he deserves better.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know, he may not have been the best, and like his face turn didn't work out, but he's been there. You know, when people go down and when people have been injured and this and that, and when they needed someone to fill a gap, he's always there. And now Batista comes back and they just shit on him basically.
Yeah, it's happened so much to him. Like, as soon as someone's injured and then they come back, oh, who should we take the strap off? Del Rio. You know, like when Cena come back, oh, it's like he had to go on his hands and knees and go, oh, here you go, Cena. Here's your World Heavyweight Championship. Like, I don't blame him. I don't blame him if he wants to leave, to be honest, because as he says, Batista's a perro. He's a little chihuahua. You said, as he always says, like, yeah, I mean, he comes out, and like Batista tries to play like some goody two shoes baby face, like, hey, I have no problem with you, man. I have no problem with you. And Batista's like, he's like, oh, Batista, I'm gonna treat you like an animal, like a little puppy, like a little perro dog. Like, you perro. Like, he calls him that every week. And then, fair enough, Del Rio, gets a couple kayfabe thumps on him, and then he just like ends up, and then Batista starts to switch, like he's a beast. Starts switching, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking, oh, shut up, Batista, man. Fucking.
Batista's the animal. In my opinion, Brock Lesnar's the animal.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to see these two guys. If they're gonna do the fucking muscle guys, then give the spotlight to the smaller guys like Bryan and stuff, and then let Vince have his, like, do you know what I mean? Two fucking American wrestlers, the big guys. Let them go at it and just, do you know what I mean? Lesnar and Batista. But
well,
I think
Lesnar Batista fight. I'm pulling for it. I'd love to see.
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to have them two go at it. It's well, I won't say. Well, it basically is a super match, isn't it? They ain't been at it.
Nah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Those two, it's gonna gain attention.
Yeah.
Even if it is a shit match.
Lesnar will just fuck him up next.
Oh yes.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Lesnar would go face, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And
Lesnar would instantly go face.
Lesnar's a monster, just a straight up monster.
Oh, Batista can't last 5 minutes against that Ryder, so he's not going to last against.
And it'll just be a shoot. It'll be a shoot match for Brock Lesnar. He'll be like, they're giving me instructions. Bunna, I am just going to shoot this guy. You want to you want to try and play at MMA? I'm going to show you MMA. Real Kimura lock, broken arm, bam.
Right. If he comes out like he done Big Show and just punches him in the face, then it's gonna be over.
Oh man. Alright, let's move on from these pedos. And go on to segment 10. This is the Wyatts versus Ziggler, Pushback R-Truth, and Xavier Woods. Shugs?
Let me see what I put in my notes, actually, because I'm bound to wrote something, because they just fucking pissed me off so much. Actually, I didn't even write anything. See, that's what they mean to me. Fucking nothing.
Alright, man, alright. Well, Tony, how will they book Wyatts versus Shield? How do you reckon they'll book it? Who goes over in that one?
That's a great question, because I think this is I think JBL said this on commentary during the Shield fight, the Shield match with Mysterio, Big E, and Kofi Kingston. You can't see any of these two winning. You can't. I mean, for a wrestling fan itself, Shield versus Ryder, the Wyatt family, who's going to go over? You can't predict who's going to go over, because they're pushing the Wyatts to the moon. The Shield are getting over. It's going to be very difficult, but I think the Shield will lose this match.
Yes, the crack.
It comes down to if they're going to split the Shield at the Elimination Chamber. If they're going to split the Shield, then the Shield will lose. If not, I think they'll go over.
Yeah, I think the Shield are going to let themselves lose. It's not necessarily that the Wyatts are going to beat them, but I think that Ambrose is going to do the dirty like he's doing, playing proper heel. Gotta love the guy, man. Like, the Shield's more established, I'd say, at the moment, but the Wyatts they're just on that wave. So I don't think they're gonna hurt the Wyatts. The momentum, I think that Shield's they're gonna have a few more cracks, or do you know what I mean? Ambrose is they're not gonna get along. There's gonna be a few disagreements, and then they'll end up costing themselves the match, maybe. Whether or not they'll split straight after that or it'll progress, I don't know, but I think the Shield are going to cost themselves the match with the Wyatts, because the Wyatts, those guys are scary. They need to just keep on that wave.
Alright, let's go on to segment 11. We have Naomi versus Aksana. The only reason I am talking about this match, Shugs, is because Naomi gets some time to shine, but then Aksana enters the ring, like a fool. Please tell me you watched this match and saw her blatantly knee Naomi in her face.
I didn't see her.
Oh my god, Shugs, you need to see this. She literally, she tried to sunset flip, Naomi, and she's lying down, Aksana's above her and just drops a knee in her face. All I'm saying, she has a bruised orbital bone, bro. You need to see it. It's horrible.
Cracked her skull.
Cracked her skull, bro. Like, it looked horrible. I couldn't believe this was happening. And she carried on the match, right? She carried on the match and everything. Like, I must give her props for that. So, Naomi, you're a G. James, AJ was on commentary. Looks like it'll be AJ versus Naomi, for Divas title. Will this actually be a decent match?
I think it would be a decent match. I still think AJ would go over. I do have a little side note when it comes to Divas. Our very good friend David Meltzer quoted that AJ Lee in 2013 defended the WWE Divas title more times than Dean Ambrose and Big E Langston collective for defending the other two.
Oh my God.
That do surprise me.
It just shows the state of them belts, innit? And the booking. Oh God. Alright, let's go on to the final segment. Segment 12. Bryan versus Orton. Sugs, this match went 25 minutes. 15 minutes of this match was submission holds, yeah? Did you feel that this match kind of dragged on a bit?
Well, yeah, I just think that they're just filling time, bits through the show. They're filling time and things are going like too long now. Some of these things are going too long. Obviously, if they're covering for Punk, and last week we had to watch fucking the Kofi match, which went on for like forever and a day. And then now, like, these matches are just some of them are just going too long, And they're not gonna, they're not gonna have like the big, massive, high quality matches, that like leave you just fucking wanting more. I thought it was a good match, but they've had better matches, I suppose. Yeah.
Tony, clearly with, Kane interfering, he interfered in the match. And obviously, like, Punk is now, being swapped with Bryan, like, in the feud. Was Bryan winning the best way to go for the future storyline purposes?
Yes.
Yeah?
I would say so, yeah. Because it puts more, it gives Bryan a bit more push. Like I say, I don't know if they can go with a Kane and Daniel Bryan match. Not coming at it, because with Daniel Bryan being in the chamber and everything, and because CM Punk was supposed to be getting that with Kane. But yeah, I think that'll help Daniel Bryan's position that he's in right now, and hopefully that'll push him a little bit further forward, and that just puts more heat on Randy Orton. And probably, and I think more for the authority to use as well.
James, E2J, any other thoughts on this final segment?
No, I agree. I do agree with the whole Bryan getting pushed into this, because for me it was always between Bryan against the authority. Do you know what I mean? Bryan against that Triple H. Like, I always thought he was the main one that they were keeping down. Do you know what I mean? He had those matches with Orton originally. So to me, it just makes sense to do that. Like, obviously, yeah, Punk, walking away, that's a bit of a shocker. But to be honest, if they were going to throw him in with Triple H, it makes more sense for me to see Bryan go in.
Yeah. Can I just quickly say as well, you talk about it does make more sense. I mean, like I say, CM Punk walks away from this match with Triple H, this supposedly match. It makes more sense to have Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Than it does to CM Punk.
Yeah, I think it always did make more sense for Bryan, because he was the one who had the authority battle. He's been battling with him for the majority of the year. So why we're going to put CM Punk in that position, I don't know.
Maybe that's why CM Punk walked. Maybe that's why he walked. Maybe he thought, nah, Bryan deserves this. I'm going.
I get that, but the issue when they're trying to launch a network like they are doing, and it comes down to the first main thing is WrestleMania. The fans want Daniel Bryan in that main event, and that's what they have to give. CM Punk, you read minute dirt sheets, they all seem to think that CM Punk walked away pure and simply. Dave Batista, people like The Rock coming back, being positioned in main event shit all the time, while they're just pushed aside. I'm a CM Punk fan through and through, and I actually do believe that CM Punk would lay down and let Hornswoggle pin him for good of that company. He just states the fact that people like Dave Batista, who's old and past it, can walk in and take a main event spot, while he's got to take a mid-card position just for somebody to honour his ego. It can either be COO or it can be a wrestler. It can't be both.
Yeah, and probably he wasn't going to beat Triple H because they
I don't think Bryan's beating him either, but
they want to carry on
thing,
with the storyline. You know?
Oh, fuck that, man.
So I don't think he was prepared to lay down again, because, Punk's already laid down once for Triple H, when it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Triple H, always burying guys, innit? Burying guys.
getting a shovel out.
Yeah. Alright, man. Well, that's the end of Raw, people. We're gonna get our Raw ratings out of 10 now, so Sugs, Raw rating, please.
6.
6. Another 6, okay. James.
Miserable 5.
Ooh. Tony.
I agree with Aaron, 6.
Okay. Ed.
Yeah, I wanted to enjoy this Raw. I really wanted to like it. There's some good bits in there, some good matches. I'm going to give it 6.5.
6.5, okay. Alright, let's go into our Raw feedback.
Cook up, put it in right foot.
I know, I see. So I will read that one out so Shugs don't have to. I'll start, Shugs, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I can only see one bit of feedback because that's the only one in the correct place.
Yeah, there's Brendan's got one as well. In here's Brendan Banters.
That's not the right place.
Alright, so I'll start. Michael. A really enjoyable show with a lot of build for the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton, Triple H, and Stephanie did a good job not getting put off by CM Punk chants. WWE crowds need reminding that CM Punk quit. He wasn't fired like Matt Hardy after Edge and Lita affair. He quit on the company that gave him the WWE Championship for over a year and a major well-promoted matches against Rock, Cena, and he was given the WrestleMania payday against The Undertaker. He quit. Anyway, tag team title match was a good ending sequence and a sweet-looking moonsault off the side of the cage. Look better than from the corner of the cage like Kurt Angle did. Someone should have told Del Rio that Batista was going to be wearing a tight shirt and jeans combo. Awkward. Del Rio looked like the babyface by the end of the segment, and Batista looked like the heel that just got shone up. Loved Ziggler, amazing promo on SmackDown after his loss to Cesaro, and his new push that would obviously come after that on Raw. Nice sneaky move from Ambrose to take all the glory. Emma takes over from CM Punk as the best in the world with the dance-off against Samurai. Santino needs to do a power walk the hell out of here as it's not about him. A good main event match, and Bryan defeated Orton. Thus WWE now listens to the fans of Bryan, who is now the face of the company for a week. Night ended with Orton and Kane putting Bryan down and Orton raising the belts to Kane's music, which I thought was odd and made Kane look like he was bigger than the WWE champion. Good evenly paced show. More good moments than bad, and Betty White is coming to Raw next week along with Mark Henry. I think the Hand is going to have a stepbrother. Rating 7 out of 10.
Alright, Axel Mulligan. Orton's promo was rushed, and you could tell this because he didn't talk at his usual slow pace. Either way, it was still boring as shit. The Authority didn't really add to the weakness of the promo, in my opinion. They weren't worse than Randall, they just weren't any better. I'm going to steal the name of Kofi's move, SOS, but in this instance, it stands for same old shit. A good opening match. Don't understand why the IC champ got the jobber's entrance, yet Ray gets a TV entrance. More tension teased between the Shields. After the match, when Dino stole the pin from Roman, great promo from the Wyatts afterwards. Bray is golden on the mic. Bad News Barrett had another decent segment, ripping the crowd and getting cheap heat. Jerry Lawler either needs to finish off his promo and give us some foundation behind what we are hoping we won't see Barrett next week, or just not show up himself on TV. Twat. Swagger versus Christian, a decent match, even though it's unnecessary. Should have been Christian versus Cesaro. Cage match wasn't that good. Road Dogg was to blame for not catching Cody on the moonsault. Surprise, surprise, there's no heat on him for this. Titus against Ryder. Great to see Zach getting TV time, although he got the piss beaten out of him. Dance off with what you expect. I'm hoping they phase out Emma's awful gimmick over time. Good to see Santino back. Crowds have always seemed to like him. Sheamus Axel, typical TV match. Okay, but nothing special. I'm hoping Sheamus turns heel soon. Can't see that happening now Punk is gone. First thing I noticed about Batista was when he came out, how much he needs a bra. He could play kick up with those tits. ADR interrupted and cheap heat shot at Dave. We'll see a good company guy jobbing a wannabe actor at the Elimination Chamber. I'd love to know what Dolph did to get the treatment with Truth and Woods. Woods dancing is worse than my dogs. Wyatt's impressive again. The Shield good in their promo. Aksana against Naomi. Naomi won, suffered an eye injury. Nobody cares. This sums this up. Bryan versus Orton, the obvious match for the night. When was the last time Bryan had a bad match? I don't remember seeing one. Bryan wins with a running knee and gets laid out by Kane after the match. 6.5.
Okay. Finally, Brendan's banters. Randy and Steph comes out that if Randy doesn't win, they may consider a new face of WWE. Why? What did Cena do wrong? Laugh out loud. Shields against Mysterio and the cronies. Oh look, Kofi is relevant again. Christian versus Swagger. Christian had to remind us who he was. After all, it has been that long. I thought he had retired. Tag title match, steel cage match. This was match number 6, this time in the steel cage. Dog, Billy, I have some bad news. The crowd would rather see Emma versus Paige. Zack Ryder versus Titus. Attention WWE, no one gives a fuck about Titus O'Neil. You put Zack Ryder on Raw, someone the fans want to see, and in those 5 minutes, he was more over than Manuel and ever will be. Sheamus versus Curtis Axel. I see Axel is back to jobbing again, and it was nice to see audition by Sheamus for the Denver Bronco kicker's job. Coincidental, I hear Axel's dentist is still trying to fix his teeth. Ziggler, R-Truth against Wyatts. Ziggler must have really upset someone if he is having to team with Woods and R-Truth. It's a shame that Wyatt didn't kidnap Woods. Naomi versus Aksana. Now it's time for my First Amendment right. What the fuck is WWE doing with these so-called matches? Total Divas is a reality show, not a WWE show. If you want to incorporate it, then use all your divas in the show. Enough of this Total Diva shit on Raw already. And furthermore, I get Naomi is married to the Usos, but why is she doing Rikishi's moves? And yes, AJ is CM Punk's girlfriend, so she's referring to her herself as the best in the world. What the fuck, WWE? Come on, get a grip or keep them off TV. Rant over. Final match. I see Kane likes a hands-on role as Director of Operations. Triple H says he is all about what's best for business. Well, the bantering one thinks that Daniel Bryan should be in the main event at WrestleMania 30. Do you agree, Segheads? 6 out of 10. Okay, and that's it. So, we're going to go to a break now. So, we'll be back with Smackdown in 60 seconds, Sugs Stunners, interview with Velvet Jones, and in the words of. So, don't you miss it.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kinny Killa and the Galdem Sugar Sugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It is I, Kinny Killa, and I am joined by James Powers, the Galdem Sugar Sugs, E2J, and Tony Walker. So, we're about to go to SmackDown in 60 seconds, so roll with it, Sugs.
Okay, so SmackDown, 60 seconds. I don't know why I'm so unlucky that I have to watch SmackDown every week, but here we go. Kofi and Dolph, aka Job Squad 2K14, versus Ambrose and Reigns. Rollins is on commentary. Cole is like pushing his buttons and acting a dick. We get the Superman punch and the spear on Dolph, and then Reigns sarcastically tags in Ambrose just to get the pin on Dolph. The Wyatts do another great promo on him while they're in the ring. Bryan comes out, calls out Kane, calls him a backstabber. Kane makes a match against Cesaro late in the night. We get a Rusev promo, so he's still not appearing on TV. We get the Divas, don't even know who fought, fuck the Divas. Titus is in the back with Renee. calls Darren Young. He says he's missed a no day off, and they tagged for 2 years. So in 731 days, that brother was off, and I mean way off. And then Darren Young comes, attacks him, gives him a beatdown. We get Alberto Del Rio with Renee, and then he says he's an animal trainer, and he's going to tame Batista. Bryan against Cesaro, which is a really good match. Cesaro taps out to the yes lock. Kane comes out, and then Bryan gets hit behind with a neutralizer, and then Kane attacks him again. Sheamus versus Ryback, not a bad match from these two biffs. Bray against Goldust, Sister Abigail, good night Goldust. Then we get Christian against Orton for what seems like the fucking billionth time, and just Christian jumps off the top rope and Orton hits an RKO. Orton wins. Fade to black.
Fade to black. All right, Sugs Stunners.
You know when you get one of these shit weeks, so it makes Sugs Stunners harder than normal. So job of the week, I'm just going to give to Ziggler. Just keeps getting shit on. He keeps running his mouth and keeps getting shit on even more. Move of the week, we'll have the moonsault off the cage. Although no one caught him and he looked like he fucked himself up, it was still pretty good. And rest of the week, I'm going to give it to Roman Reigns. Because he still looks good on TV. He's up in his moveset. And, you know, he seems like there's no limits. And his hair is lovely.
My man Roman Reigns takes it down 2 weeks in a row. Okay, people. Right, so yesterday I had a sit-down interview with indie wrestler Velvet Jones from Georgia. And yeah, it was a nice interview, nice guy. Unluckily, the Skype recorder just messed up half of the interview. So there is some of the interview there. So please just listen to, Velvet Jones. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It is I, Kinny Killa, and I'm about to enter Planet Velvet, people, because I am now interviewing Velvet Jones. How you doing, Velvet?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm real good. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to interview you, my friend. So, just tell the listeners, what was your earliest wrestling memory?
My earliest wrestling memory was I was a kid and my dad used to watch WWE wrestling on Sunday mornings, and I used to watch a lot of guys like the Wild Samoans, Tony Atlas, and Rocky Johnson, those guys from like the early '80s, and those are my earliest wrestling memories. Jimmy Snuka was a very big influence on me, and he's the guy that actually made me want to become a professional wrestler.
Yeah, I bet you did. The Superfly splash off the top of the cage, that'll turn anyone, man. How did you start training and kind of getting into wrestling?
What happened, I was actually just attending a local wrestling show around here, around the area in which I live, and I'd gone to the shows, and, I saw the guys wrestling and stuff, and it was cool, and I was thinking, this is wrestling, it's local, and I never thought in my head, under any circumstances, that I would be a part of professional wrestling on any level, but I thought, if not, why not? I just go ahead and take the chance and go ahead and do it. And so what I did, I actually contacted a couple of guys from the wrestling organization because I would actually see them in the gym. Mm-hmm. I got started training early on. By the time I finished completing my training, the organization itself was in trouble, and it actually wound up folding. Ooh. So what I did, I became a referee for another organization that was born out of it for about 2 years, and I still was training, and one night they had a tag team championship match, and one of the guys that was there didn't show up. One of the guys that was scheduled to wrestle, he didn't show up, and so the booker looks at me and he goes, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like now or never." So I just took the chance to go ahead and wrestle that match, and it was quite an experience, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
I could imagine. I mean, life is not always full of opportunities, so when they come up, you just have to take it, especially when it's it's part of this business. What year did you make your wrestling debut, and how did it feel to actually hit that ring for the first time?
I actually made my wrestling debut in 2005, and for me to hit the ring for the first time, like I said, I had been training and I had experience as a referee, but I was in a position now where I was doing things, and I could, there would be some cheering, or there'd be some cat calls when I did something wrong or whatever, depending on the situation. So it was a completely different thing when I stepped into the ring as a competitor. But the feeling that I got when I was done, I sat back and I was like, whoa, I actually wrestled a professional wrestling match. And it was crazy because I never thought I'd be able to do it. And if anything, I wish that my dad would have seen it, because my dad passed long before I became a professional wrestler.
Sorry
and
to
for
hear
me
that,
to
brother.
be with him and actually be introduced, thank you. And for me to be introduced to the sport by him, and not have him there, it was a bittersweet moment for me. But I always say a prayer before every match. I form a cross across my heart, and I kiss my hand, and I tell my father I love him before I get into the ring, and that's what every match I wrestle.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Do you think, forward on 10 years, nearly 10 years now since your debut, do you think that it's kind of easier now to get into the business more than ever, with so many indie promotions being around now?
I think it is, and I think that could probably be a bad thing, because it's, there was a time around here where a lot of people were really trying to have some sort of regulation when it came to just starting wrestling organizations, as far as like the physical condition of the wrestlers and the way people went about handling wrestling business in general. But now it seems like anybody can rent out a building, anybody can get some chairs, anybody that has access to a ring and knows a little bit about wrestling and has some buddies that can wrestle and may have some deep or somewhat deep pockets can put on a professional wrestling show. So it is very easy to get into the wrestling business, a lot easier than it was years ago.
Okay. So being on the road, there must be some funny ribs going on, or some, funny stories that happens along the way. Is there anything that you could tell us?
Or like road stories or something?
Yeah, anything. I've spoken to wrestlers before, and they always say that they've had this crazy rib, or something's happened along on the road that was never expected.
Actually, I actually was going from Georgia to North Carolina with a van full of guys. It was like 4 of us. Me, Mike Money, my cousin Kimbrough, and another guy by the name of Travis Green. We were all traveling, and this was like late one night. So we're crossing from Georgia into South Carolina, and we're trying to find somewhere to stop and get gas. Well, we found a convenience store, and when we got there, there was this woman, and she had like this Ford Explorer, and she had on like this really tight white dress, and she looked pretty decent, and we're like, why is she in the middle of nowhere with this tight dress on and can't go anywhere? We're like, okay, something's up. Are we gonna be set up? Are we getting punked? What's really going on? So first thing we did, we started talking to her and everything. We asked her what was going on, and she was like, I'm lost. I can't find my way home. She was in South Carolina. She wanted to get to Augusta, and mind you, South Carolina and Augusta, Georgia are like right next to each other. The line is like right next to, like probably walking distance if you decide to walk across a bridge. But either way, it was extremely close. Needless to say, she was like highly inebriated or whatever, and we didn't know to what level, but she was good enough to drive. So we told her where to go, and we were figuring, okay, if she's from this area, you mean to tell me she doesn't know how to get home? So we talked to her and everything, and eventually she wound up getting home, and like I'm trying to tell her how to go somewhere, and there's nobody on the road. So the exit that leads into the interstate, she's parked there, and she's like about to turn, and there's nobody on the road. I'm standing outside of her car and reaching into her car, and she grabs my hand. She's like, thank you so much for guiding me in the right direction. I'll call you tomorrow and let you know if I made it home, and all this kind of stuff and everything. And she was like, oh, thank you so much, thank you. You're such a nice guy. Are you single? Oh my God, you're such a nice guy. Oh goodness, do you think you could ride with me to the hotel? Oh, you're such a nice guy. And I was like,
damn.
I just kind of cut the conversation short because I was in a relationship, and I'm not that out of sight, out of mind guy. I respect my relationship, so, and I was like, okay, and we all did the nice thing, called to make sure she was okay and everything, everything. And like a week later, when I was at home, I actually went to Taco Bell after leaving the gym, and she called me and she started giving me her life story. Yeah, I'm like recently divorced, but I got 3 kids, and I just found God. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. And I'm like, okay, my double-decker taco is getting really cold, so I'll have to call you back.
I need to eat this now.
Exactly. So that's exactly what happened. But it was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Velvet, for giving us the opportunity to interview you, and take care and all the best. And there you go, Velvet Jones. Yeah, really nice guy to sit down and talk to. There was a bit in that interview which wasn't there, which was so funny. A woman in the cafe or wherever he was just came up to him and thought he was part of the WWE, and it was just while we was having this conversation, so it was pretty weird. But yeah, really nice guy. So make sure you please follow him. That's at Team Velvet, and look out for him, future star in the making. Right, general feedback. Head of Fan Relations, James Powers. Have we got any feedback this week?
Well, we haven't had much. Mainly, it appears to be from the twins, Anna and Louise Lighton. First of all, referring to they can't wait for Steve versus me in the Beat the Clock challenge, and apparently there'll be only one winner. Miss Paige Martin kind of had a go at Bindus about last week's episode for dissing CM Punk. And same for Miss Anna and Louise Lighton, who said, "Oh, Steve was on, we didn't notice."
Oh, that's cold.
Like they're getting them Jerry Lawler burns.
Yeah. Them Eva Marie burns, that's cold, man. What about Brendan? Has he done anything on Page? He said he's going to release stuff.
Yes, it is there, and I'm going to have him for it. I am going to have him for it.
What's he say? What's he say?
He's put it in his specials bit. He thinks it's me.
Alright, I got it up here. So, Paige Martin special, Brendan's Banter special edition. Well, my fellow #Segheads, on January the 17th, a thread was placed on the message board with the title Sexy Voice. Since that day, there have been speculation as to who Paige Martin was referring to. I've been the excellent detective that I am, took on this painstaking task to work out, and after a few weeks I believe the thread girl is Paige Martin, born 1989, Sheffield, England, and I think the sexy voice she's referring to is, let's say he likes bad news. I also have reason to believe, but not confirmed, that Miss Martin may be a fellow law enforcement officer. Now, am I wrong, Paige? Paige, you got to reply to this dog, man. You got to reply. So, James, it looks like you got the sexy voice, dog.
Brendan will not be going back to the United States alive.
Yeah, because James with more bullying tactics. Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to give this time for Tony to plug some stuff. So, Tony, plug away, my friend.
Yeah, my wrestling podcast, on CVFM Radio 104.5 FM in, I believe you get it in Middlesbrough, but you can get it online as well at cvfm.org.uk. It's just a 6-minute podcast that airs Tuesdays at 5:30, giving my profiles about wrestling, wrestlers in the world like CM Punk, the Macho Man, Randy Savages, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, and the list goes on. As well, if you want to get me on, if I can put my Twitter as well, if you want to get me on Twitter, it's at Tony_Walker. Follow me, and if you want to talk to me, that's fine. I can do that. Facebook as well. Facebook.com/thehead Anthony Walker. And the head Anthony Walker 28 as well. That's my other Facebook. I have 2 Facebooks, yes, and blame Facebook for that. As well, and also I'm looking to do a YouTube show in the coming weeks as well. I'm trying to plan a YouTube show, and I've had this planned with CVFM Radio as well, in the web, so I'm looking to do it on my own occurrence as well. The only thing is, I don't know what format I'm going to use for it, but it's in the works, it's in the pipeline. Go to my YouTube channel as well. I don't know the link of it. If you're there with me, I'll give you the link. My YouTube channel. Bear with me. Yeah.
Sounds like someone's running in the background.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't know what format to use on my YouTube show yet. But it's in the pipe works and everything. Just look for Anthony Walker on YouTube and
you'll find it.
You'll find it, yeah.
Okay. All right, people. That's the end of the show. It's been a nice show. You know, E2J back. He's back.
Good to be back, man.
He's back. So you know, we can pencil you in on some dates. So I will liaise with you on that. So yeah, thanks for coming back, player.
No problem, man. Good to be back.
Okay. I also have to give a massive thanks to obviously the head of our fan relations, Mr. James Powers.
Very welcome, sir.
And yeah, Tony. You know, first time on the show, and we definitely talking to you again and trying to get you back on. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate that, man. It's been an absolute honour. I've had a blast, and hope I can come back on in the near future.
Definitely.
And
you know,
I can see the American accent. I can see when when you've been talking, you do sound like an American Geordie, like Jimmy Neal when he went to Hollywood.
I think that's a compliment.
Oh god. And you know I can't do this without the hashtag tech guy himself, the Gado Sugar Shugs.
You know, it's always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Gets me out of bed on a Sunday.
All right. So in the words of, it's going to be the in the words of, which was meant to be last week, but Shugs took over, which was nice. So nicely done, Shugs. So this week is going to be in the words of Vince McMahon when he fires Paul Heyman on Raw. So, in the words of Vince McMahon, I appreciate people who speak their mind, and you know, I remember the things you said to me, you know, the last couple of days, and I'm alright with that. I'm a First Amendment advocate after all, so I'm exercising my benefit of the First Amendment right, and I would like to inform you, Paul, that you're fired, and you can choke on that slap nuts.